the powers that were afforded to the federal government. And over the years and over the decades, those government lawyers in black robes have convinced the people that there's something called implied powers in our Constitution. That's baloney. There are no implied powers. Why would our founding fathers go to the trouble of enumerating the powers and then put the punctuation point with the 9th and 10th Amendment? These men were geniuses. They spent a lot of time and energy putting this together. Yep. And you heard the quotes from our different founders. The more that I read about our history, the more that I learned before the ink was dry on the Constitution. Jefferson and Hamilton were battling it out. They were at loggerheads. They were throwing fisticuffs, man. And Jefferson wanted a small, very restricted, limited federal government, and Hamilton wanted an expansive government, a government that would rule like the King of England, but just have different people in control. And of course, he was going to be one of them, right? And the Jeffersonians fought them off valiantly for decades. And if you want to get a great read, pick up Thomas D. Lorenzo's book, Hamilton's Curse. He says in the first chapter, he says, we might revere Jefferson as one of our greatest founding fathers in crafting the Declaration of Independence, but we live under Hamilton's curse. Folks, this is exciting for me. As bad as things seem, I can tell you, I feel this is a good time to serve because the people are waking up. The people are waking up. And I need to know, when I'm down there standing in the gap, taking the arrows on your behalf, on behalf of the people of the 1st Senatorial, that when I look over my shoulder, there's somebody standing behind me. All right? Good. And so does Brian D. Evans. And so do many other these patriots that are running for office. We've been blessed with a representative republic. And I think that it was Franklin, when confronted by a woman after he came out from some of the meetings in Philadelphia, Mr. Franklin, what kind of government is it that you've made for us? And he said, a republic, madam, if you can hold on to it. Folks, I'm blessed to be with you. We're blessed that God's providential hand has been on this nation for well over 230 years. But it's up to us to hold on to it. Thank you.
Thank you, State Senator Jim Lembke. Wow. We are so lucky to have somebody as passionate as Jim on our side. He's been there every step of the way. And I have to tell you, just as a measure of dedication to his service, before we move on with the program, I'd like to ask all of you, as you say your prayers tonight, to also pray for Jim Lembke's family. Jim spent the latter part of this afternoon at the bedside of his father-in-law, who unfortunately passed away today. And Jim was with him. God bless you, brother, and our prayers are with you always, you and your family. I got to tell you, if Jim Lembke is Albert Pujols, we have a Matt Holliday here too. Yes, indeed. And I first met Brian Nieves because he called the show one day. Here's a guy who is hungry as a servant to his community. And he didn't have somebody calling on his behalf, or didn't send out this news release, or just kind of like, come and get me if you want me, and that kind of thing that we often see in the media. This guy's not laying back. And it was really a true measure of Brian's heart. I was very, very impressed by that, because here's a guy who wanted to pop on the air and just state his piece, and I, of course, welcome anybody to do so, but it was really interesting that here's a person who is in the political world who is not taking anything for granted, kind of like Jim, and kind of like the way our representatives should be. And so I'm pleased and proud to say that Brian Nieves is a friend of mine, but I'm very proud to introduce him tonight as a man who ultimately might be your next state senator. State Representative Brian